Hello, welcome back to the stream here. Welcome to the Timu Studios here. We just doing a quick little stream here. I just wanted to get this out. I had some information from one of my clients, and they currently have a lease on one of their vehicles that's going to be up on their end here real soon. I just want to kind of go over a couple of things that they have options to do. Um, Most of the time with leasing, people will lease a vehicle for 24, 36, or sometimes longer, 39, 48, or even 60 months you can lease in some cases. What it really does is it gives you the opportunity to kind of wipe your hands clean of the car by the end of the lease. If you don't want it anymore, you just want to get into something else. Very easy to get. You get a lower payment. You get basically like a used car payment on a new car. It's basically kind of how I would describe it to people when I worked at the dealership and sold leases. Now, the lease can be kind of misleading because you actually do own the car while you have it, right? The one thing that I would say though is that you have the opportunity to wipe your hands clean of a car. Say you get into an accident with a car, and it's got a dirty Carfax now, and you just want to wipe your hands clean of it by the end of the lease. You can. That way, you don't have to worry about trying to trade it in later and then seeing that on the Carfax and not being able to get nearly what the normal trade value would be. That being said, I want to show you a couple of things that I know that I need to make sure that everybody understands about a lease when they're doing them. This is what the car is right here. 23 Legacy Premium package. You can see that it's a nice red color here. This is just kind of a different. It's the same car. This one is just one that a dealership has currently, but this is what it is. So super nice, modern, a lot of space in this one. These are really in high demand and are really hard to find with the mileage. The client has like just between 20 and 25,000 miles on the car, which means that there's some considerable value left on it. So when you're leasing a vehicle, by the end of the lease, you have a few options. You can turn the lease in and they'll ground the car. If you did, say, a 10,000 mile lease a year over the course of 3 years, that means you have 30,000 miles on the car before you before you get charged for mileage overage. If you go over the 30,000 miles in those 3 years and you just ground the car, they call it, at the end of the lease and lease another one, then you'll pay for any mileage overage. Say you ran it for 32,000 instead of 30,000, then you'll pay 2,000 miles over, and depending on what manufacturer it is going to depend on how much the mileage overage is. It can get kind of expensive, but you pay more, you pay later is what I always say. That's why I kind of make sure that my clients understand there's a couple other options. The other option would be to buy out the vehicle, and I'll show you that first here. You say you love this Legacy, you want to stay in it. It's a great car. Obviously, Subaru and Toyota make some of the best cars on the road, and the Legacy is a fantastic option. Really a comfortable car, very safe vehicle. So it's one that if you bought it out at the end of the lease, it wouldn't be a bad investment at all, or bad to keep in there at all. So let's go ahead and pull up our car payment calculator here and just see what it would be like to stay in the car. Okay, so the residual, or what's left over, the buyout of the car, is listed right here, and I have it already prepared. It's just over $20,000 by the end of the loan. So let's break it down here. So $20,000, and then there's going to be a dealer fee of $500. Now, in some states, you pay the sales tax on the entire car when you lease it. So those 3 years of lease payments that you pay the entire sales tax. But in this case, you're going to pay the 3% sales tax to buy the car out. So you have that right here. Typically, they're going to dealerships in order to be able to move you out of your lease and just purchase the car, they're going to charge you a documentation fee, which is listed right here. Just at about $500, just so you can see. So if we were to do a 5-year loan on that, and right now rates are just under 5%. Right now they're kind of going down a little bit, but through USAA Prime Credit is like 4.7 or maybe even 4.2, depending on. So with perfect credit, you might be able to beat that 5%, but that's pretty close to where you'd be. So if you were just to sign and drive and drive away with the vehicle, you can see you're going to be right around $400 on a car payment right here. If you did a 5-year loan. Now, what you could also do is you could roll it out another year and watch what will happen is that your payment will go down. And USAA or any other bank with good credit on a newer car like this will even roll it out for 84 months. And when you do that, you can get a low payment of $300 in this case. So that would be the options, depending on how long you wanted to do the loan on the purchase. You could do you just want to pay it out quick and just do a 36 months. You might even be able to get a lower rate at that point. So let's plug that in at 4% and just see what happens to the payment. It's going to go up, but you're at 624. You're paid off in 3 years, and you avoid a lot of this, a lot of interest right there. So instead of paying, like if you finance it over 72 months, watch what happens to the total interest. It goes from 1,300 up to 2,600, right? So you can see that you can avoid a lot of those interest charges by doing a shorter term. That being said, that's one of the options that you can do right there. The other, so that's option two. The other option is to trade your lease in. Now, sometimes they're going to make this hard. Sometimes to trade your lease in, you can just trade it in before you ground the vehicle, right? Or before you buy out the car. That's obviously the easiest way to go. In some cases, though, we actually have to go through do the paperwork and buy it out and then trade the car in. Now, in this case, if you don't want to keep this car and you want to, get into something else, there's a way that you can get some of your money back on this one, and I'll show you. So, with a payoff being 20,000 on this one, a buyout being 20,000, you can get a lot of additional money in your because the buyoff is really low. So if we take a look at what our offers are on this particular car, you can see right here that right now on this particular car, we're getting offers of over $24,000. So if we can get them to do a cheap doc fee when you buy the car. If you have to buy the car out, that's a substantial amount of money right there. That's about $4,000 in your pocket, 3,500, $4,000 in your like roughly between 3 and 4, I would say, between what you would what you would get from your in the vehicle. That's what the manufacturer is hoping for. The manufacturer is hoping that you just turn the lease in at the end. They're hoping that you don't see that you can get 24,000 for it, because what you can do, buy the car and then sell it to like we do to CarMax or Carvana, and instead of them you turning your car in and getting nothing for it, now you can buy the car, trade it in, and then you got it $4,000 in equity, right? You pay the car off, you got 4,000 in your pocket, 3,000 after taxes and everything. So $3,000 in your pocket for the next car is a great way to go, because if you lease another car and you lease it over 3 years, now we're going to have an additional $90 to $100 off your car payment right there every month, which isn't too bad. I mean, that's worth it, right? I mean, $1,200, that's the $3,000 that you save over the course of the next lease. And we can do this with a lot of different leases. So that's one thing I wanted to bring to your attention, is that the three options we would have on this case would be to be able to ground the car. That would be like, let's say we were close to 3,000, say we did a 10,000 mile lease, and say we were close to 30,000 miles, and say like the trade value was right here at 20,600. In that case, it would make 100% sense just to flip them the keys and have them ground the vehicle. Very simple, right? Very simple. Now, in this other case here, we would have the other option would be to buy the car out and then trade it in. Hopefully, they would just trade it in for you, but sometimes you have to buy the car first and then trade it in which case, it looks like you're going to get after taxes and whatever the cost is to do their paperwork when you buy the car out, you're going to have 3 grand in your pocket right there that you can apply towards your next vehicle. So that's just one thing I wanted to point out to you on that. And that would just be, in my opinion, that's a great way to go on this one. So, and if you want to keep the car, I mean, you could do payments as just depending on how long of a term you want to go with. You can do a 60 months, 72. You can do 48 months or even 36 months, and like a 48-month term would still be under $600. You would be super low on a payment, considering a new one is going to be obviously more expensive. So that was just kind of one of the things I wanted to just kind of go over on this, just to kind of help with when it comes time to make that decision. We know that we have some positive equity on this vehicle if we were to buy it out and then trade it in. So a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people just turn in their leases, and that's what the dealer wants, because the dealer wants to take the Parkway Volvo wants to take your vehicle in, and then they want to be able to take the car that you turned in with 20,000 miles on it and you get nothing, and then they give you, instead of giving you the $3,000 that you'd have, $4,000 in equity that you would have by buying the car out and trading it into Carvana or CarMax. So again, those are all things that I can facilitate and make it as simple as possible for you in that respect. But it's one of those things. That's a pretty significant amount of money when you consider what the let me pop this visor back up. When we consider how much a new one would cost, the MSRP on these, they're not cheap cars by any stretch. I mean, yeah, we're looking at MSRP on this one of 35,000. So you've already paid 35. You've already paid $15,000 on the vehicle with all the taxes and fees that you've considered. So those are the things to consider here. Obviously, just want to be able to reach out and let you know that you have those 3 options. You have equity in the car if you want to buy it out and trade it in with it. You'll miss out on a few $1,000s by doing that, but you could do that. And the other option would be to buy out the car if you wanted to do that too. It's a great car. Obviously, these things hold their value, so you could buy the car and drive it and then trade it in later if you wanted to, and still get a lot of money for it. But just wanted to give you that information so you would be able to make an informed decision. Yeah, and the other thing that you could do, if you do decide you want to go with a different vehicle, we can start doing research. I can start helping you with the research on that in that aspect. One of the things that I will do for clients is I'll call dealerships and set appointments up, like a concierge type of thing, where set up an appointment, make sure they have one ready for you to drive. And I give you an easy out too. I just tell the dealerships that you're not going to make a decision on that car until you've driven all the other ones. So, basically whatever ones you would be considering, I would say, okay, you're looking at a Chevrolet, Traverse, and you're looking at a Subaru Outback, and you're looking at a Toyota Highlander, or Toyota 4Runner, or something along those lines. Right. I'm just going to say that you're going to be driving those before you make a choice. So then you go and drive. That way you're not sucked into the office and having to look at numbers and talk to salespeople. So that's the good news. I'll actually sit on the phone with clients too while they're in their test drives, if they need me to, just in order to be able to ensure that they are getting the service they deserve from any salespeople, and they're not going to be harassed or pressured into anything at that point. So use me as a resource, and like I say, any other questions, please let me know. Thank you.